You know, living with stage 4 cancer, it's so much more than just fighting the disease itself. It's a battle against being alone, against going broke, and against a system that, honestly, can feel like it's just left you behind. So today, we're going to dive right into the heart of that struggle, and we're going to look at the story of a community that's decided to fight back.
I mean, just listen to these words. This is from a patient just days after she finally found a support system. That feeling, can you imagine, of failing as a human? That right there, that's the hidden pain we're talking about. It's the absolute core of this crisis, and it comes from having to go it alone for way, way too long.
So, okay, to really get this, we have to look past the numbers, right? We need to see the reality for a real person. To really feel the scale of this problem, you have to understand the weight of it on just one individual.
So take a look at this. This is from a real post online from a patient we're going to call Sammy. She gets diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, tells her landlord, and what happens? She's immediately put on a month-to-month lease. And then, just a little while later, the landlord decides to sell the place. I mean, just imagine, you're already fighting for your life, and now, on top of everything, you're facing the very real terror of being homeless.
And this is the whole point. Sammy's story, it's not some rare one-off thing. Her fear, her loneliness, her money problems, that is the reality for so many patients who are fighting for their lives and for a roof over their head at the exact same time.
So why? Why does this happen? Why do so many patients feel totally abandoned? Well, let's pull back the curtain on the system itself. The answer is, well, it's frustrating and it's brutal. In fact, many people have started calling it the Stage 4 Hunger Games.
Yeah, there's a huge difference here. If you have early-stage cancer, there's often a lot more support available, a clearer path. But for stage 4, it's like that whole support system just vanishes. It evaporates. And patients are left trying to figure out this broken, underfunded system all by themselves.
It basically turns getting help into a lottery. And the odds? They are not in your favor. It's not about who needs the help the most. Nope. It's about who's lucky enough or fast enough to get through a door that's only open for a tiny crack.
And you know what people always say? Oh, just start a GoFundMe. Well, for so many patients, hearing that isn't just unhelpful, it's actually kind of heartless, because it completely misunderstands who platforms like that actually work for.
Look, the truth is, a GoFundMe only works if you already have a big supportive network of friends and family. It helps people who are already kind of privileged, you know? But for someone who's already feeling alone because of their illness, someone exactly like Sammy, starting a GoFundMe just feels like one more public failure, a painful reminder of all the people who aren't there to help you.
But it was right in the middle of this broken system. And because of heartbreaking stories just like Sammy's, that something new started. A different kind of organization was born. And it was built by someone who gets this problem from the inside out.
Her name is Mary Cause Costello. Now, Cause is a social worker, and she spent over 30 years building nonprofits for communities that get overlooked. But then, in 2020, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer herself. So you see, she has this incredible, unique perspective, all that professional experience combined with her own personal, lived experience.
And when she saw that post from Sammy, that was it. That was the final push. An idea that sparked in early 2023 turned into a reality, like, fast. It was all driven by this urgent, desperate need to create solutions that just weren't there.
And the whole thing is built on this one core idea: person-centered practices. Now that might sound like a bunch of jargon, but it's not. It's a huge shift in thinking. It just means that the patient is at the center of everything. They're the experts in their own lives. So the system has to adapt to them, not the other way around. It's a total flip of the script.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it means building a whole ecosystem of support, one that's designed to fight back against the exact crisis we've been talking about.
They call their whole strategy the #NoPain campaign. And this is such a powerful idea because it recognizes that the pain from a stage 4 diagnosis isn't just physical. Not at all. It's the pain of being poor, the pain of being alone, the pain of a system that's failing you. And More for 4 is set up to address all of that pain.
It's all built on 4 main pillars, each one tackling a different part of the problem. You've got community and empowerment, you've got crisis intervention, then housing security, and finally, fighting for systems change.
All right, so the first pillar is More Core. This is the real heart of the community. It's both an online platform and local chapters, all designed to put an end to that crushing isolation so many patients feel.
The whole thing is built on one simple, powerful idea. No one should have to go through this alone.
And check out their support groups. They're built around this really cool cancer and idea. It's not just about cancer. It's about cancer and everything else you're dealing with. So there's a group called Going Solo for people who are navigating this without a support system. There's another one called Drift for people who've been abandoned by friends or family after their diagnosis. It's all about meeting people exactly where they're at, in their real lives.
Okay, and the other pillars offer some seriously practical solutions. You've got Rapid Response, which is basically a crisis team that provides emergency money for things like rent so you don't get evicted or car repairs so you can get to your appointments. Then there's Home Matters, which tackles the housing crisis directly, trying to create permanent, safe, affordable homes. And finally, Jedi Action. And yeah, it's pronounced just like in Star Wars. That's the advocacy wing. They're the ones fighting for the big picture changes in policy so that someday you won't even need these other crisis programs. So all of this, it's all building towards this really powerful and honestly essential vision for the future. A future where a person is seen as more than just their diagnosis, where their quality of life is fought for with just as much passion as the fight against the cancer itself.
And this right here, this core value, it just says it all. It's not about sitting around and waiting for the system to get better. Nope. It's about taking action. It's a mandate to build what's needed right here, right now.
This idea actually comes straight from their logo, which is a 4-leaf clover. Each leaf stands for something. There's faith in each other, hope for a better life, love as the thing that drives the community, and then there's the understanding that, you know what, sometimes you got to make your own luck.
And it really leaves us with this one big question. When you're facing a crisis that attacks not just your body, but your home, your finances, your very sense of who you are, isn't the most powerful medicine of all simply community? Isn't it just each other?